Hello, this is Teddy Bikes Cape. Thanks for joining. Today I have a ride in southern Mashpee to some of the islands in Waquoit Bay, and then heading up the Quashnet Valley, and then back over to home. Ended up being about 22 miles, and a good part of it on gravel roads and a little bit of trail, but quite a bit of pavement, but on pavement that doesn't have a lot of cars on it, which is always my goal. Today I'm riding my custom-built Univega gravel bike that is running 40mm tires and some wide bars, and converted to 700C. It's a pretty nice bike for doing this kind of thing, and it's fairly maneuverable despite the fact that it's a road bike. So after taking the Powerlines down to the Mashpee River, uses a little trail that cuts around the Mashpee River, has a bridge that goes over it that we're about to cross right here. And then from there, I work my way over to a trail that's really kind of a road, and take that for a few miles, heading south along the west side of the Mashpee River. This little diversion gets you away from Highway 28, which is really not a great road to bike on, and it's obviously a lot more scenic. The surface is pretty smooth. There's some roots and rocks here and there, and there's some sandy patches here and there, but really by the standards of most Mashpee roads, it's actually pretty solid. The Trailforks app calls this River Road. It does eventually go into a road that's called River Road that actually has houses on it that you'll see in a few minutes. I assume it's just a old legacy cart path from back in the day that just never was developed into a paved road.
What the f*** is that?
I think that sound was some waterfowl, but I really don't know what it was. I've never heard that call before. Quite loud. If you happen to know, drop it in the comments. One of the things I really like about this trail is I very rarely run across anybody. I maybe see one person out in this area every time I ride. That's about it. So when I go on these rides, I really don't have a predetermined route. I just have an idea what I'm going to do. But so I'm not doing any kind of my Garmin isn't following a route, so I'll pull out my phone and make sure I'm kind of going a direction that I want to go in general. Here I whacked some good roots. I didn't see them. The light's coming in at an angle, and you may not be able to tell that, but I just didn't really catch them well. I don't have the best vision anyway, so I ran right over them. So eventually I make it out to the actual river road, labeled in Google Maps. So after I heard that dog bark, I looked over, and he was not on a chain or anything. He was just out in the front yard. So I hightailed it. Luckily, I was right at the beginning of a hill, and so I was able to get some good speed. And I looked back right there, and I didn't see him, so I was lucky. So when I see a dirt road with a rope across it, my interest gets piqued, and so I turn around and check it out. And sure enough, this is on Trailforks as well. It looks like it's pretty sandy, and with this bike I didn't think it would be a good idea so I'll probably bring a mountain bike back there, one of my old mountain bikes, and with a little wider tires, and check it out next time. So River Road dumps out into Great Neck Road, and I'm heading south, and eventually I get to this development here that I cross through to get myself to the Mashpee Wildlife Refuge. You'll notice if you watched a previous video that this is following a similar route to what I did in that video, but we're going to take a diversion from that. So this is Great Hay Road, which is another old legacy cart path that was never paved. At least this part of it wasn't. I missed filming some of the route, but up here I do take a right on Amy Brown Road, and that takes me over towards Monomoskoy Island. This is the causeway out to Monomoskoy Island. This is one of those interesting parts of the Cape that really doesn't get a lot of traffic and is not really busy. The houses seem a little on the older side, you know, kind of an older Cape style, not the mansions that you have like in New Seabury and some of the other parts of the Cape. This island goes out into Waquoit Bay, and Waquoit Bay is one of the larger bays on the South Cape. I did go all the way down to where the road dead ends to the south end of the island, but there really wasn't much to see down there. It's just a residential community, and there's not really any access to water. So I've been heading towards Secluded Island now, and here I pulled over. It was just so much traffic. Sometimes it's best just to pull over and let all that clear than trying to barge your way across and taking a left turn and then possibly getting yourself in an incident. This is Ostrom Road here, and then we're gonna take a left turn here on Meadow Neck Road that takes us down to Secluded Island. So now we're on the causeway to get to Secluded Island. Secluded Island basically parallels Monomoskoy Island. It's just a little bit to the west. It has a pretty similar feel to Monomoskoy Island in that the houses are a little bit on the older side. It's a little bit more of a classic Cape neighborhood versus the newer neighborhoods.
That was it.
They do have what looks to be a pretty good-sized marina down here. I'm kind of looking for the road that goes down to the south end, and I passed it, so I came back to it here. This is a private drive, but I'm on a bicycle, and I'm going to respect all the homeowners, and generally I haven't had a problem with that kind of situation. The reason I want to go down here is that I noted on Ride with GPS that there were some trails at the very end of this island, so wanted to check those out. And here we're coming to the end of the road here. There's a couple houses here, and it's pretty obvious this is kind of like a neighborhood access point to the water, the point. It's nice that they saved this little point and didn't put a house at the end of it so that people can all get access to the water. I ride until the sand gets pretty loose, and then I just push my bike the rest of the way. There's kind of a little high point here that I get a view of the surrounding areas. It's got a nice view of Waquoit Bay. So now I'm heading back north from Secluded Island, and I would say that given the choice, I would say Secluded's probably the nicer place to ride. Obviously, there's more public access here. This road is generally quiet down on this end. It's pretty nice riding. So coming up on that intersection, I'm going to go straight, and immediately there's a bridge that is over the Quashnet River, at least the tidal area of the Quashnet River, so it looks fairly large. This is looking north, and we'll be generally on the left side of the Quashnet River on the next leg of this ride. And this is looking out towards the bay side. So the next leg is to head up towards 28 and make a crossing. There is a pedestrian crossing here, although for the most part people on Cape Cod don't seem to, especially in the summer, don't seem to observe pedestrian crossings. Once I'm across 28, I'm looking for Turner Road, which actually isn't labeled Turner Road because it apparently has a different name at the very start of it. So I go past it, figure it out, and go back after consulting my phone. And so it's up here on the left.
Valley.
So Old Valley Road eventually transitions into Turner Road, which is, again, one of these old cart paths that really was never converted to a paved road. I'm going to take this north until I get to some power lines where I'm going to head back to the east. So this is the same power lines that I actually started the ride on, but it's at least a couple miles from that point, and there are a number of obstacles you have to go around to actually get back to that point, and we'll show you all those. So the first one is the Quashnet River, and there's a diversion on either side here, but the best one, the closest one, is on this side. So I head to the south through the sandy patch.
Nice.
And then I'm going to take a left up here and drop down a hill. This descent turned out to be a little easier than I thought it would be. And here's an example of where I think this bike is actually pretty good at maneuvering things, being able to balance and getting through a little tight spot like that. That takes me to a culvert that allows me to cross the river. once I'm across the Quashnet River, head up to this other north-south trail, and that takes me up to the Powerlines again, and then I head back to the east on the Powerlines. This gravel is pretty chonky. That's pretty typical of all the Powerlines. So the next obstacle that we'll have to negotiate is 28, which is probably the least favorite. You come in, this power line ends in a parking lot, but then right across the parking lot here there's this little trail that allows you to get to 28. I carefully drop down onto the road surface. Would not be a good place to make a mistake. Ended up having to wait here probably for about 45 seconds before I made a crossing. It's definitely not the best place to cross, but I think it still was worth it. You just have to be patient. So then you cross another smaller road and continue on the other side. And eventually this power line road stops, and you can take this trail found on Rywood GPS. It takes you into this apartment complex, and I use this to get to Great Neck Road. Great Neck Road was a road that I was taking earlier. Didn't show a lot of it, but it has a bike path on it, at least on the north end of it. But I'll soon have to take the power line road, so I cross here while I had a chance, and then head on to the power line road again. And this is mostly a descent, so it's nice and quick. Quite a lot of weeds in this section here. And then back where I had originally been on this trail called River Road. And I came on a couple hikers pretty quick and let them pass. And then eventually worked my way down to where we crossed the Mashpee River along 28, which is really not too far to my left side. And then I worked my way up this pretty steep ascent. And on the way down, I had hit a little loose patch of sand, and it got me again on the climb, and I had to push it through this little section. So I took the gravel road to the east a bit further, and that takes us to our final descent, taking us down to Sampson's Mill Road. This descent has got a lot of loose gravel, and sometimes there's a lot of mud down here at the very bottom, so I try to get through that with a little bit of speed, and get a good bump at the end there. And from here it's all pavement to the end, heading on Sampson's Mill Road back into Barnstable and Cotuit, and the old familiar crossing on Newtown Road. Thanks for joining me on this bike ride today. If you enjoyed the video, please press like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.